Turning back.
It's already done. We're in.
Oh, it's done.
It's done. We're in.
Oh, red light right there. It says LIVE live.
There we go, baby. Hello, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Happy Tuesday and a little bit of Irish crickets.
There you go. Irish crickets. I was going to go outside, but it's raining and cold.
Oh, cold?
Cold. Yeah. I don't know. There's a chill, and I can't catch my dog. He's being an ass, so I just left him. Came in here.
Dude, I looked at our extended forecast, and the lowest high that we have the next 14 days is 81 degrees.
Oh, wow.
It's still 89 degrees out right now.
We're in the 55s or 60s, I think.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's been beautiful. And today was really the first day it was humid. We've had 90 for the last 4 or 5 days, and today was more humid than the other days. But, this time of night, things are just beautiful back here. I'm loving it. So,
well, that's fantastic. Yeah, sorry, I just get my bearings here. Hey, welcome to After the Cook, everybody.
Yes.
My name's Mel, and my man Chris. Christian, there you go. Fantastic. There we are. Get the pleasantries out of the way.
Yes.
Whew.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, buddy.
Day. Darren, how you doing?
Oh, there he is, Dietrich.
Of course.
Darren.
Oh, Mel,
yeah.
how was your past weekend?
Oh, it's been a weird time, man. It's been a weird time. Been busy, been doing stuff, but having fun. You know how it is. We poured the pad for the hot tub in the backyard this weekend.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had a guy come and do most of the forms and stuff like that and help whatever, right?
Mel's getting a hot tub?
I got to do it, man. I got to do it.
Did you order it yet?
Not really, but they're around. Whatever.
So down here, I know somebody whose hot tub broke and they just ordered one. It's an 8-month out.
Oh no, Mel's too clever for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone was out of charcoal this year.
Touché.
Just saying. If you need it, you get it. There's a magic trick to everything. So I'm not too worried about that. It has to sit for a month anyway, the pad. So I'm not in like a crazy rush, but for sure in a month I'll craft one up. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm just not sure Instagram is ready for you to have a hot tub.
Yeah. They're gonna have to. Yeah, buckle up because it's going to be a fun ride. I can't wait.
Are you going to be keeping it going all winter long too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So we used to have one at our last house, right? We moved here when we were having family. So at our last house, we had one out on the deck. In my dining room, but we moved it back out to the deck, and it was a blast. But we lived in that thing, man. And I'm a Pisces anyway. I'm always in the water whenever possible. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably be doing this from the hot tub on Tuesdays, which is fine. We'll figure that out. Yeah, no, I almost did it in the kiddie pool, but Elvis would not allow me to do that. So
I wonder if, I was wondering the logistics of keeping that from freezing up there in your winters.
Oh, yeah, you just leave it on, and then you're good.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the magic trick. You just have to leave it going all the time. But one thing that I thought was kind of neat and kind of weird at the same time, the gentleman that came and did the pad, right, the concrete guy, it was around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning when he was doing ninja kicks down the front street.
Was he overserved by you?
He wasn't overserved by me, but I believe he had like a bag of tricks in the van.
Okay.
And whatever, these people radiate to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I was having a blast. I was on the bourbons and cigars and stuff anyway, so I was having a blast. But it was just kind of funny because all of a sudden the wife was like, "You're going to have to shut that one down." And I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I'm like, okay, fair enough. That's... Yeah.
So is there whispers of things opening up a little bit more down by you?
Dining rooms in restaurants open up tomorrow, Thursday. Okay. They open up Thursday.
Okay.
So we're going back to that, and They said that the Stampede is back on, our big rodeo.
Mm.
So that was pretty much them saying, we're wide open, we're done. We're going to just give her. So
good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know. We're ready to rock.
So hopefully that means there'll be another at Dark Side of the Grill barbecue event coming up.
I believe so, yes.
Good.
I believe. Yeah.
Good.
I'm looking forward to
people
getting
want it.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm pumped for it. I'm pumped for it.
Well,
And you know what?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that video that Big Green Egg dropped of Mel Schmeller Jr. at Dark Side of the Grill is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen it, after this show is over, of course, don't do it now. After it's over, head over to Big Green Egg's Instagram account and watch the video featuring Mel. It is a masterclass. I mean, it's a beautiful video, great shot. You got this guy cooking monster 3-bone tomahawk ribeye, prime rib roast, cooking this whole rope sausage, slicing it up and eating it, edited perfectly. You got the fire on the whole. It's gorgeous. Go check it out. You know, it's the video that all other videos will be judged against.
Oh, you're too kind, buddy. Thank you very much. It was a blast to shoot. It's always nice when you can do that many cooks all at once. Mm-hmm. That was all within like 2 hours.
Yeah, it helps when you have 17 Big Green Eggs.
That's the magic trick, right? Is that I had some places to do some things, and also like every cook was just dead on. It's all textbook, so I was very happy with that. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun shooting it.
Yeah, great video. So after we're done here, make sure you guys go over and check it out if you haven't seen it. It's deadly.
Heck yeah. Now on that note, we should bring our guest up. I'm pumped to talk to this guy.
Oh, we should. Awesome dude. He's a guy that I've had the chance to. I was on his podcast a couple of times. Actually got to cook with him in person a few times when I lived down in Milwaukee. He only lived about an hour and a half away. Him and his wife came up. We recorded the first podcast in person, cooked like a Thanksgiving dinner, essentially. A lot of fun. We cooked together at an Arctic Tailgate event. Yeah, just a really cool dude. Just got a lot going on. There's a lot to talk to him about. Yeah. Mr. Mikey Kay from at Man Meat Barbecue Podcast and Fire and Smoke Barbecue Company.
Boom. There he is.
Up,
how you doing, brother?
I'm still alive.
Huh? Yeah. That's how it happens. Love it. So I have a question for you right out of the gate. Right. Why do you take it easy on Sundays?
So I take it easy on Sundays because breweries aren't crazy popping on Sundays.
Yep.
And there's just not very many places to kind of do pop-ups for me. And I'm usually hungover.
Nice. That's awesome.
You know, we're in and out of breweries usually like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, on top of caterings, on top of other events that we're doing. So Sunday's just kind of like a one day to regroup, and then me and Kev do our live on Sundays, which is the BBQ Chat Show on Instagram, and that's kind of what we do.
I love it. I love it. I love Kev. He's so cute,
isn't he?
So he is. I like him.
Coats and orbs.
Yep. Yep. Fantastic. So tell us a bit about Fire and Smoke.
So Fire and Smoke Barbecue Company is a catering / pop-up company, and now we are a food trailer. So we also do a rub line. We use all the seasonings that we cook with. We sell. Maybe one day Mel will find somebody that can get him some. He says where there's a will, there's a way. So we'll find out.
That's it.
But basically kind of what we did is I had Man Meat Barbecue, right? I was doing that, doing the podcast, and then I started cooking more and more. And more people started asking me like, hey, can you cater this party? Can you cater that party? Can you cook? I'm having a bunch of buddies over. Can you do a pork shoulder for me? Can you do a brisket for me? Can you do pork belly burn ends for me? And I was like, yeah. And I started doing it. And then I was like, well, how do I do this legally? Right. So I started looking into it, found a commercial kitchen that I could cook out of, rented that, started trying to figure out how to get more and more business. And, I looked at it and I was like, Well, breweries don't have food. At least most breweries down here don't have food. It's because they don't have kitchens. So what we did is we're like, hey, we'll bring in the food, we'll serve the food, we'll vend, and see what happens. And I figured that was a good way to also get more people to try our food to want to cater. Because, like, that would be another, like, issue that I would have is people were like, oh, I really like your food. I really like your food. Can we do a test cook?
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? Well, we want to try your food before we order it for 70 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really don't feel like cooking a brisket for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to cook a brisket for one or for three.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, well, what the hell do I do with the rest of this brisket? Or, you know, they were like, well, can we try brisket, pulled pork, and ribs? No, I'm not cooking all this stuff for 4 people.
Yeah.
So started doing the pop-ups, and then people would be like, well, can we try your food? Yeah, we're going to be at this brewery on this day. We're at this brewery on that day. Come on out.
Well, and that's a huge thing up here now too, and obviously in other places. For those of you that don't know, Mikey and his wife Amanda are down in the Chicagoland area.
Yep.
You know, we're up in Wisconsin where there's a lot of breweries, but it's a big thing now where, you know, they'll have food trucks in or caterers in because they don't have to pay for that side of the licensing. You know, they don't have to be licensed to have, you know, food. They're only licensed to serve the liquor. And the nice thing for the food trucks and the caterers is they don't have to have the liquor license then. So they just focus just on the food side. You know, it's a match made in heaven. It really is.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we don't have to have the liquor license to do, you know, to have for people to have beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And down here, depending on if you self-distribute or how you do your beer, some places can have like hard liquor. Some places can't. So a lot of it's beer and hard seltzers because that's the same under the same kind of liquor license.
Yep.
It's really easy to make a hard seltzer if you're making beer.
Oh.
So.
I love hard seltzers. Let me tell you.
I know. You
I'm a big fan. Big fan.
You know, and just beer in general goes great with barbecue, or vice versa. Barbecue goes great with beer, but it's great for you guys too because, you know, if people can sit there and drink, they may be having a couple of beers and be like, you know what, I'm hungry again, or I might need something else to quick eat to kind of soak up that last beer that I've had, and you guys can just kind of feed off of each other. It's a great.
I think what they really like us for the big part is, you know, most people that eat will drink more.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you go out to a bar and there's no food, you might have 2 or 3 beers and then be like, I'm driving home. You know, I shouldn't have any more. But if you're like, oh, you know what, I can grab a bite to eat. You know what, I may have that 4th or 5th beer.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's last week we went to a brewery that just opened up their patio where this Prairie Fairy came from, Sea Change. Yeah. And we were there. It's literally a block away from my shop, right? We get there, have 3 beers in like 10 minutes, right? Then she comes out, hammer a couple more, and right away I'm like, holy cow, like I need to eat right now. Something horrible just happened here. I'm having way too good a time.
Yeah.
And there was just nothing sitting there, and that's instantly I was thinking like this needs to happen for
and
sure.
Especially when you're at these craft breweries where you might be drinking a beer that's, you know, 6.7% alcohol, you know, where all of a sudden you're on your 4th and that little bit of time and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like one of the breweries that we go to, it's called Microphone. It's known as a heavy-hitting brewery. And I mean, they have, at any given time, they'll have 4 or 5 beers on tap that are, you know, 8%ers. So it's like you have like one and you're like, whoo, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like we're feeling good.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great idea, man. And I'm glad it's going good for you. I watched, I forget the podcast you did it with, but you had just set your trailer up. Yeah. And you were going through the inertia of getting going with that. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's
It was a good podcast.
Our trailer, I mean, it's very basic. We're not running a crazy, like, it's not a $60,000 rig just because I can't afford that.
No.
But it's everything that barbecue people need. You know what I mean? We got a hot box in there, we got warming pans, and then we got a smoker on it.
Yeah.
And we got a refrigerator. Like, realistically, I would love to have a fire suppression system on there and be able to do like smash burgers and all that and have like whatever cook surfaces. But realistically, I don't need any of that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you have your Myron Mixon on there?
I do, yeah. I have the H2O on there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, I cooked on my dad's, and I love the H2O. It's so efficient. And so are you a hot and fast brisket guy then?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when you cook on the H2O Myron Mixon, you have to be a hot and fast guy. It's built for that reason. And the thing about that rig is you can do hot and fast and be consistent and have that consistent product in there. It's fantastic. Walk us through a little bit of your catering menu without giving away too many of your secrets. But we did one event in February in like 0-degree weather, and Mikey busted out this beautiful build your own mac and cheese buffet. Now, is that something that you have on your catering menu?
That is something that we do offer. Yeah. So one of the things that we kind of like started looking at in the sense of like selling food and being in kitchens and working in kitchens, it's like, hey, you want things to kind of pair together, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like mac and cheese would kind of sell one night and then it wouldn't sell the next night. It'd kind of sell one night, wouldn't sell the next night. And I was like, what if we do like a pulled pork mac and cheese? We started doing pulled pork mac and cheeses. Now we're selling a ton of mac and cheese and we're selling a ton of pulled pork.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Beautiful, and I'm able to charge more. Let's get it
right.
out. Go. So we kind of like started moving into that kind of direction, and we do offer a mac and cheese bar, and we've had a couple people that'll cater that where they're like, hey, we want to do a mac and cheese bar, and then what we'll do is we set up the mac and cheese, and then you got pulled pork, you got brisket, you got pork belly burn ends that are chopped up really, really fine, you got sausage, you got chicken, whatever they want to do. I let them pick like 2 or 3 meats, and then you just make it a build your own mac and cheese bar.
Do you guys do caterings for weddings? Because
yes,
I think that would be like the ultimate for 10 o'clock rolls around at the wedding. Yeah. People are starting to get hungry. You want them to kind of have something that soaks up the alcohol. So sometimes you pull out pizzas, but I think if you busted out a mac and cheese buffet with either pulled pork, buffalo style chicken and blue cheese or something like that they can just dump on there. I mean,
yeah,
gosh, that's a dream right there.
And the best part about it though is like if they make it and then they're like, oh, I don't really like brisket mac and cheese. Well, that's your fault. You made it. You didn't have to make any, like, you know what I mean? Like it takes so much of the pressure off of me.
Right.
Like, dude, you're making literally your own meal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really sweet idea. I love you love a cheesy mac and cheese, briskets, jalapenos, right? Maybe some pickled onion, and that's my whenever a wife's making stuff, I'll start throwing my own shit on top like that. That totally makes sense that you could literally do a taco bar with it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, great I kind of like took the whole taco bar idea and just made it more barbecue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like everyone's always like, do tacos, and I'm like, we're not tacos. Like there's so many taco trucks around us. Right. Like I literally know the owners of like 7 of them, and I'm like, dude, I'm not in your game. I don't want to be in your game.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what's mainstream, you're doing you, and I think that's what's gonna ultimately lead to your success. Is that you're doing. Mikey, you're doing fire and smoke. You're doing what you want to do, what you're passionate about, and that's going to come forth in the food.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
We had a little rough year last year, but
bouncing back.
Yeah, starting to, as stuff starts to open.
Mm-hmm. How are things down in Chicago area?
So we go fully open on Friday, I guess.
Okay.
Everything's fully open, no restrictions. Do whatever the hell you kind of almost want. So it's pretty much almost fully open.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, things are.
So, are you people vaccinating down there, or just the herd mentality, or what's going on? I don't know.
I think it's a mix of both.
Okay. I think at this point, the people that want to get vaccinated are vaccinated. You know, for us down here, we've had such great opportunities. We've had we've seen the numbers kind of go down a little bit on our max vaccination clinics that we've been running. I forget exactly what the numbers are. We're not at the 70% needed, but our cases have been super, super low. And in places like by us, I think most people are vaccinated or have had it.
Yeah.
Fortunately and unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely way behind in the vaccinations up here, but the numbers are dropping like crazy. So
now let me ask you boys this question: how's meat sourcing going for you guys? Because I know for us, it's becoming like it's so weird. Like chicken is becoming. I can't get chicken wings anymore. Like, and the wings that I'm getting that I can get, yeah. I mean, they're tiny, and it's like, man, I can't sell this to somebody. Mm-hmm. So, like, we normally have chicken wings on our catering menu. I took it off. You know what I mean? It's still on there. And when people are like, oh, can we do the wings? I'm like, unfortunately, due to the times that's going on right now, you know, it's off the menu. And it does say on our menu, like, items are subject to availability and subject to change because, I mean, it's barbecue. Shit happens. Yep. I know that baby back ribs right now are a little over $5 a pound.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like we sell our baby back ribs for $30 a rack.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm paying almost $20.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Up here, an uncooked shitty rack is $20-$25 at the store. That's before you touch it. So, yeah.
That's Canadian. That's like $5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I mean it's crazy, and I think, unfortunately, you're going to see the price of pork from like these big name companies. I don't think it's going to go down anytime too soon.
No.
Well, I mean, shoulder's gone from my supplier was doing $1.16 a pound a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. We're at $2.40 this week, I think.
Jeez.
It's killing our bottom line. It's killing us.
I mean, and the issue is for something like that, you know, when you're looking for a specific cut, it's those smaller farms can't necessarily drive the prices down. But where I think, you know, if you know a local butcher or know a local farmer where you can say, hey, I want to go in and buy half a cow, you can get your value that way, but you're paying for just, you know, a few steak cuts and everything and then ground beef. But when you're trying to source, you know, pork butts, you get 2 per pig. So you're trying to source pork butts from 50 pigs. That's that much harder for a local or smaller farmer to kind of combat that price, you know, or briskets, you know, stuff like that. But if you're like, hey, you know, I just want, you know, for my family, some ground beef and a few steaks. Yeah, I can buy a quarter cow and probably save money in the long run that way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's the issue that I have with people that are like, you know, people that don't understand what we do are like, you know, why don't you talk to this local farmer? I'm like, because he's going to want to sell me half a cow, half a pig.
Right.
And it's like, I need pork butts. I need pork butts. I need bellies. I mean, we're cooking like this weekend alone. I'll be cooking 12 pork butts. I think 8 briskets and like 6 bellies just for this weekend. You know what I mean? Yep. And that's, I need 3 different cuts. I don't need the whole damn animal.
Right. No. Yeah, usually for me, I find that the small farmers, like, they have a better product. They're charging more anyway.
A lot of them are,
that's the thing. You're paying like hobby farm prices. You're not paying feedlot farm prices. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a tough one. Up here, it's been weird, man. Every once in a while, we get what we call COVID briskets. They pop up. They're like $3 a pound, which is
wow,
$2 a pound for you guys. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
No, it's not, and they're good. They're double A, right? They're almost prime. It's nuts. And then like we've seen those picnic pork butts. They went on for $1 a pound. It's strange. So the way that I see it is they're sitting on a ton of meat.
Mm-hmm.
And if COVID is knocking out their factories, it's knocking out their shipping. So they have
a big part of it. It's knocking out a lot of shipping, and a lot of truck drivers and stuff like that. Because like I was talking to one of our reps, and he kind of told us, he was like, you know, we were sitting on a ton of brisket, but we weren't getting the orders like that we needed. Mm-hmm. So we ground it.
Yeah.
For hamburger, basically. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Here you go.
And some of those companies, when this first started, their product wasn't packaged for consumers. You know, they had their product packaged just to go to restaurants. So they all of a sudden had all this product that they were sitting on that, you know, they can't necessarily sell to consumers without having to repackage it. And at that point, the cost of that is going to outweigh any profit margin they have. But they're sitting on all this product. And, you know, I bet you there was a ton of food that had to end up going to waste.
Oh, there was. Yeah. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like our Safeway or our Sobeys up here, our local like grocery store, you never see a pack of brisket, a whole pack of brisket. And all of a sudden you walk past the corner of the aisle and there's 50 of them sitting there for $2.50 a pound or $3 a pound. And what the hell is going on here? This is insane. And that's exactly what it is. They used to go to restaurants. Well, the restaurants are closed for dining. So they're not ordering that meat anymore. They're not touching it. And now it's getting dumped on the local market, right? So then they're having to flood it out because no one's buying it. So it has to be cheap enough for people to buy, which is, so it's a weird double-edged sword. Like, it's nice for the hobby guy, but I don't know. It's crazy.
You know, and it's going to be weird once all these restaurants open back up, because then you're going to see the demand is going to start outweighing the supply. Because I think you're going to get this flood of people that are like, okay, I've been sitting around for the last year and a half. I want to go out, which is fantastic because these restaurants need it in order to, you know, to survive and come back from where they are. But then what that's going to do is the demand's going to go way up. The suppliers aren't going to be able to keep up because they'll have to play catch up. And then that price is still going to kind of go up. So I don't think we're going to see a normalizing of the price of a lot of this stuff for, you know, months, because there's nothing there that's going to drive the price down.
I think that's Chris, I think you're hitting it like right on the head. Like that's the hard thing for us, like in the restaurant industry, is people are trying to go out and they're trying to come out and support us, but it's like, I can't afford to feed you because they still want to pay, you know, here where food prices starting to come to here. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't. Well, my food cost can't be 90%.
Barbecue also is like inherently a cheap food in people's minds.
Yes,
I don't understand. Like, it's the most crafted, like time-consuming, like skill. It's crazy the amount of stuff that goes into just like one brisket. And then when you're bucking it up per pound, they're like, "Whoa, I paid like so much at a Texaco in 1989. Why would I pay that now?" Well, yeah, okay, but you know, it's especially up here. We have people all the time. They're like, "Last time I was in Texas, it was this much." Well, that was what 10 years ago. Yeah, that was 10 years ago. First of all, and you know, they have feedlots of 10 million cows. You're up here paying our prices now. Like, it's not.
Brisket used to be a throwaway cut. You know, it was a butcher cut. It was one of those cuts that the butchers kept for themselves because it was so tough that people didn't know how to cook it.
Yeah.
And the butchers knew, okay, you overcook it. It's one of those cuts that you overcook. It becomes tender again, and it's delicious. And then I would say sometime in the last 7 years, 10 years, barbecue all of a sudden is becoming more and more mainstream.
Yep.
And I think that, COVID unfortunately kept people locked up where they're like, okay, I got to start trying stuff for myself. And then it becomes even, to that next level where it just drives the price up, and there's only 2 briskets per cow.
Yep.
It's funny.
It's like 50 cows a day.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny you say that too. So one of the wife's mom's friends, her husband passed away. And they were doing something, cleaning up the house, whatever. She was sorting stuff out. She came across a few briskets in the freezer. And she's like, he never cooked one, so I don't know why he had these in here. But, like, do you know anybody? And she's like, yeah, my son-in-law will burn them up, no problem. Like, that's... And she shows up with these briskets, and I'm like, so where did you come across these? She's like, well, it's this guy, and then he passed away. I'm like, you literally took these out of his coffers to give to me? Like, this is ghost briskets now. Ghost briskets, right? Like,
I mean, were they any good though? Like,
they were fine. They were cryovac and they were full packers. That's what I mean. So in COVID, right? Like, he probably had a little pellet cooker or something, and he was like, I'm gonna try my hand at this. At this price, I'll buy 3.
Right.
And then never did, but still he like went that far into it. He committed that far into it, like crazy. So yeah, dead man's briskets, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you got to try it, right? You gotta do it.
I mean, I'd cook them.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you? That's
wouldn't bother me.
No. Yeah. I always get a kick out of that, man. Like. And not that I'm comparing apples to oranges or whatever, but like tacos, for example, right? You're selling tacos. There's stuff that goes into it, but it's mostly fresh and it's not very time consuming. Bang, 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 and out the door it goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not waking up the day before.
Yeah.
you like literally to work on the bread. Like that's nuts. When I explain to people what goes into like a full event.
Yeah. And I mean,
they're like, well, how do
you got to think, like, you did your event, right? So you did your event on what day was it? Saturday?
I started Friday, and it was,
okay.
Yeah.
So I normally have an event on Friday.
Yeah.
And I have an event on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I got, like, we're not big enough. We don't have a big enough staff to where I can just be like, oh, yeah, go out and do it. Now I'm going to stay back in the kitchen and cook. No, like I'm going and serving, and then I'm coming back and starting to prep for the next day.
Yeah.
And then sleeping between sticks.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's
the
one thing, man. With
what was that?
With the stick burner, that's
Sundays off.
Yeah. That's why we take Sundays off.
Right.
Yeah. No doubt.
I get to sleep till 7 on Sundays. It's like sleeping fucking all day.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, it's funny. Our buddy Rich, he said, you need to take it easy on the beers on Sundays. He's like, you're getting right out over there. Hey, you should come on and tell him. That's what you should do. That's yeah.
Hey, it's my show. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh. We're not as politically correct on our show.
No, these things happen. Every once in a while, I'll fall off the rails here too. It's all right.
Happens, right?
Every once in a while, you fall off the rails, piss in a jug. Things happen.
That's it. We've only had to delete one show.
It's only been a year.
It wasn't even you.
We only had to delete one show, and it wasn't my fault. So there you go.
No.
Good time.
Lord.
Good time. Yeah.
I want to mention something that I think you two would both have good insight on. Something a little more serious than the conversation that we've been having. Today marks 3 years to the day that Anthony Bourdain committed suicide.
That is true.
And it's one of those, I think, vivid days that we all kind of, not necessarily remember exactly what we did that day, but we remember just the thinking and the sparking the conversation that brought forward to thinking that, okay, you know, what a force Bourdain was in the culinary world and the culinary entertainment aspect of everything and what he brought through. And then it just kind of really opened up my eyes, especially to, you know, the fact of an issue of mental health.
Have you seen the trailer for the movie, the documentary that's coming out on it?
I have. I can't wait.
A fantastic trailer.
No,
if you guys haven't seen it, you really need to go see it.
Yep.
Oh God, who's the documentary maker? I can't remember the name of it right now. But I know it's going to be on HBO. It's going to be on the streaming HBO app. That's all I know, which makes me really excited because I actually have that one. But I think with something like that, with like Anthony Bourdain and like with everything that happened with that, and everything that goes on with mental health in like service industries and cooking and all that, I don't think we take the time to stop and think about it enough. You know what I mean? Like when you're working, you're you know, just pedal down all the way.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there's no times to stop and take a break. And I think sometimes we need to.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, because there's so like kitchens can get brutal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Anthony was really great at showing like what the greatness that can come out of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people don't think about, you know, the greatness that comes out of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he especially, I think, opened, I mean, not intentionally, but I think his passing really opened a lot of people's eyes to the fact of, you know, this is an issue. And you kind of go back and think, okay, you know, how many lives do you think he's saved by what happened to him too? Because I think it brought everything a little bit more forefront, and it made people maybe check in a little bit more with their people.
I honestly think he saved a lot of lives from that, but I also think he saved a lot of lives while being alive.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And just being the person that he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like he really sat down. He like if you sat down with him, like he sat down and like listened to you. Like he cared. He wasn't just there to be there. You know what I mean? Like he was like, no, like I'm present. Like let's do this. Which I think that's what made him such an amazing person.
The big one for me was that he could call a train wreck, but he'd bring the beauty of it out. And he'd be like, you know, as bad as you might be or as weird of a place as you might be in, he's like, you know, you still have that edge, and that's why people are buying your food. That's why people are there, because, you know, it's something you're born with. It's not something that's taught. And that's why you're doing it. And that was the big part for me. He's like, junkie or not, right? Whatever story you had to get here is just track marks on your life. Like you still have a whole ceiling to reach.
Did you guys read any of his books?
I always, a little bit.
Kitchen Confidential.
Yep.
Okay, I've read almost every book that he's ever written, and I mean, just the stories that he could tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just insane. You know what I mean? It's just like, here's this part of my life where I was doing this, and it's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal for most people.
Right.
Yeah. No,
you know, I think that's what was great about his storytelling is he would tell it like it is. You know, he wouldn't hold back, which I think initially, I don't want to say got him blacklisted, but people kind of looked down on that because you're like, well, these are kind of the secrets of the kitchen. You know, I think when he came out with Kitchen Confidential, it was, you know, these are kind of the untold stories that, you know, people aren't supposed to know that this really goes on, or that this is an issue, or that this is, you know, what it is. But, you know, he did that. And, you know, I think he kind of, I don't know if it's the right term, but I think he might have been kind of one of those first rock star chefs. that came out and said, this is the lifestyle and this is what we do, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I thought it was almost beautiful the way he could sit down to, like, he's in Vietnam or something, sitting down to a bowl of pho, right? And he's like, if you look past the absolute squalor around you, the lack of human rights, right, and the obvious like travesties of the the person who's literally chained to that pot back there, this is the best soup you've ever had in your life. And he's like calling it as it's like unfolding in front of you, and you see the lady staring at you from the broth, right? And she's like, and it's insane. But at the same time, it's almost like Dr. Gonzo, right? He's able to report on what is exactly happening. And you're watching the show because of food, and you're taking in the food, but someone who might not give a shit about the soup is like, look at the travesties and injustice happening with and he's hitting both at the same time. It all depends what you're tuning in for, right? Like it was.
And the guy showing him around that he gets is somebody who was arrested for 5 years for being a journalist that spoke out against their government. I mean, it's fantastic.
Well, there was that one episode, I believe he was in he was somewhere in Africa, and beer is not legal there, but they have beer. So he's like constantly like hiding his beer, like whatever, and like talking about it. He's like, this beer is phenomenal, although legally we can't have it. And then like saying like all this stuff. So he's like you said, Mel, he's hitting that like social, cue where it's like, oh God, I'm telling you exactly what's happening around me. Oh, by the way, I'm breaking the law. Yeah.
Well, he did one with that Samir guy. He was in Russia, I think, or maybe he was in the Ukraine, but the the production crew pissed him off, and he went and illegally bought a bunch of caviar. And he's like, they're going to be pissed about this $1,500 bill in the morning, but fuck it. And he's like sitting and you can't see the can of caviar, but he's legit eating
it, just going
like this. Yeah, totally illegal, and someone's paying a huge amount for it, and it's not me. And he's like, that's badass, man, because that's exactly it, right? He's like, of course it's illegal. It's also right in front of your eyes. It's up to you whether you want to look or not, right?
Yeah.
And that was half of what he did, was like, this is happening in your own city. You just have to look.
And I think that's one of the things that he was great about.
Mm-hmm.
Was he was great to show to show like the beauty of decay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like art and beauty can come out of something that's not beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times it does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
the beauty is there if you take the time to look for it. And I think that's what he could do. He could take the time to look for it and kind of point out something that is beautiful when people don't look past the decay, or, they have their ideal set up, especially us. Us in the US, we're very privileged, or we have a lot of different things that we don't realize or don't want to realize, but still goes on in this world in different countries. That, when we see that, we're so fixated on, oh, look at this is so run down. I wouldn't eat in that place because it's run down, but not that, okay, they've been cooking this broth the same exact way from the same mother broth from the past 40 years. And it's fantastic.
You can't beat it.
No, where he could look past that and see that. And I think that kind of opened the eyes to a lot of people too about, hey, there's stuff out there that you can find if you look past this and look for that beauty, which I think was fantastic.
Well, I still think it's crazy though. Like, look at it this way. Like, he went and looked at like, a ramen place in Japan or somewhere like that.
Uh-huh.
And it'd be like, this bowl is $5.
No.
Right. And it's the best ramen he may have could ever have.
Yeah.
Yet you put that shit in LA, that bowl is $35,
Mm-hmm.
and it isn't half as good.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, man. That like his shows and the way he kind of broke it down, like journalism. He was definitely an influence for me to like get off my ass and start definitely honing my skills a bit more, right? And it was more so him walking into places and talking to people and being like, what did you do before you got here? And realizing that some of the best chefs like weren't even chefs. They just either you have it or you don't. And that kind of thing, like it opened my eyes to it, and his own stories about how much of a train wreck he was and the beauty that came out of it. Like it definitely pushed me to be a better person and a better cook.
There's that story, like the story of like when he like went back to the Cape Cod area, like, and there was a whole different crew of guys cooking where he thought he was going to be like the head chef. And like he came back and like he was like, he called them the pirate crew. He's like, you know, these guys are like the scariest guys I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it's like that to me, that's what's beautiful about working in a kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when they're screaming, there's chaos and shit's falling apart.
Yeah.
Like that's when I feel at home.
Oh yeah. No, I get that. That's, you can quickly see when people are like ready to duck out or gear down when the heat is on, right? And then you get that one wild card out of the corner that you thought was a waste of time that all of a sudden is like an idiot savant in the middle of the fucking circus, right? And that's when you see who's got it and who doesn't. It's man.
It's when the pressure's on,
the
heat's on. Either you put your head down and you start working, or you walk out. Like it's one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I do love that. And I can see how you become an addict. I can see how you self-medicate all the time.
Right.
I couldn't imagine running on that gear.
Adrenaline.
Well, I couldn't imagine running on that gear every single day.
Right. Yeah, you
nuts.
get that adrenaline, you're so hyped up, you're so up here.
Yeah.
That you find something that brings you just a little bit higher, or when you're not working, you try to find something that returns you back to that level. And I think that's where a lot of them fell into that, where you can easily fall into those, craving that something that just brings you, that high one way or another.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like for me, a short week is usually like 73 hours, 74 hours of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we'll put in, especially like weekends, Thursdays through Saturday, or, Thursdays through Friday even, or Thursday through Sunday even, whatever. I mean, I'll put in, 17-hour days, if not, sometimes longer each day.
Yeah, you're putting in 50 hours in those 3 days.
In those 3 days.
2.5 days, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, people are like, oh, but barbecue's easy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can cook one rack of ribs, no problem.
Yeah.
Great. Now do 50 of those, 30 pork butts, and 10 briskets. Make the sides, serve it, cut it nicely, put it all packaged, and keep it warm so you can serve it all at one time. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I always think it's funny. Like, I had one guy come up to me, and he's like, so what temp did you pull this brisket at today? And I was like, I don't remember. Like, I don't really look at, like, once I pass like 190, 195-ish, we're not looking for a temperature. I'm looking for, probe tender.
Right.
I don't care what it says on that number. And so I just like threw our number. I'm like, I don't know, like 208. He's like, I can totally tell that you pulled it at 208.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Dude, you couldn't tell if I told you 203, 207. You have no idea what temperature I pulled it at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I cook a lot of briskets, so I can tell.
Yeah.
You cook 6. You cook 6 a year.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah.
I will cook more briskets this weekend than you will cook all year.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Mel and I have talked about this several times over the past year and a half or so. It's that your cooking obviously evolves as you do it more and more. Like when we all start out, we really fixate on what's the temp of my grill, what's the time it's on there, what time am I pulling this at. To now, it's I don't know if my thermometers are calibrated or not. I know that, I just wait till it gets hot till I put my hand over it. And, I don't time stuff out. I throw it on. And luckily, most of the time it ends up on time because we cook enough that we know that this is how long it takes.
You kind of get that feeling where you're like, should probably get on the grill. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
It's got to go on the cook. I got to move.
Yep.
And then you start having that feeling. Like, I know for me, I start having that feeling where I'm like, something's almost done.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but something's almost done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Let me go temp it. Let me go.
The beef ribs that I did yesterday, I don't know if you saw that little reel I put up where I just squeezed it and it just pissed everywhere, right? Okay. I didn't temp them or anything. I just poked them. Okay, wrap it, right? I squished it in the tinfoil. I'm like, oh yeah, that's done. Let that rest.
Yeah.
Didn't even bother with the temperature probe at all. Just and easy. Just easy, man. It's that's the problem for me all the time is that it's people messaging and they got the moon phases into their brisket cook. They've got 72 spices. They've got 3 different injections they did. Plus they had it on a season for 2 days and leave it on a cooling rack, right? And then you find out halfway through the cook they aged it for 28 days in a like what do you, I don't even know what the fuck you're cooking anymore. Never mind a Brit. Like what are we doing here?
I always find it funny the guys that like will post like got precious cargo, and it's like they'll put like one brisket in like a car seat or something, and it's like I got precious cargo, and then you like there's like me who's like I'm going to pick up like my delivery from our supplier, and I'm just throwing brisket after brisket into a cooler, like not giving it, you know what I mean? Like I just don't care. It's like, well, there's 15 briskets. Here we go. Like load them up.
Yeah.
Let's load up more pork butts. Let's load up more pork bellies. Like I'm not babying any of my briskets. And then there's like those guys that are like, oh, I take each brisket and I feel it and I squish them together and I whatever, massage them. Dude, just give me a brisket. Let me trim the thing. I'm gonna cook it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so I had this conversation this week with somebody at work during surgery. And he comes to me
during surgery, shouldn't you be focusing?
Yeah.
He steals briskets from work. Just saying. Yeah.
So he's talking to me. He's like, yeah. He goes, oh, briskets. He goes, oh, I inject mine with butter, barbecue rub, and apple juice. And you got to smoke it with apple wood then too. And it's just like, I'm like, first of all, no. It's like, what? No. He's like, I'm like, you do not inject brisket with apple juice. I personally don't inject my briskets most of the time, but I'm like, if I do, you stick with beef broth, something salty, something along those lines. Brisket's not something you hide the juice with. And then like 15 minutes later, he's like, seriously, next time you do a brisket, inject it with apple juice. I'm like, he's not listening. I'm like, seriously, shut the fuck up. Like you are no longer allowed to talk to me about food because you're pickling your brisket.
I had a steak from a cow that was finished on apples.
Oh.
And it was the sweetest steak I've ever had. Like it literally was sweet, and I was like, it messed with my mind because I was like, this is beef, but it's sweet.
Yeah. That's fine, but there's so many different reasons why I would not inject a brisket with apple juice.
Yeah, I don't want it to be sweet.
I'm like, it's fine if you do that with pork, with your ribs, with a lot of other people, but I'm like, or with a lot of other foods, pork butts, beautiful. I'm like, if you wanted to, I personally, I wouldn't even spritz a brisket with apple juice. Like, first of all, if you do that overnight, I mean, you're pickling your brisket, and not in a good way. You're not making pastrami with it. You're doing God knows what to it. I'm just like, yeah. No,
well, that's like one of the things of like people are like, do you brine your briskets?
Yeah.
Well, then you're no longer making a brisket.
No.
Yeah, you're
making pastrami.
You're making pastrami.
Well,
yeah, but I'm only doing 24-hour brine.
Unless you're one of those.
Pastrami.
Hold on. I've heard of pirates that are doing smoke rings like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get your... Hey, isn't that crazy? 24-hour brine on the outside, then you rinse it off, and that's your smoke ring?
That, or you know what they're doing? What some guys are doing, they're taking pink salts,
yep,
and they're letting it sit for 2 hours, 3 hours, rinsing it off, seasoning it up, throwing her in, and you're going to have a smoke ring that's that deep that's going to be pink because, you know, the salt, you know, penetrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's crazy. Like, when I hear people even spritzing their briskets, right away I'm like, why are you messing with the bark? Like, I try and keep mine kind of dry. I prop it up a bit so the pools piss off, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's why you're literally setting yourself back when you do that. Why would you do that? That's,
you know what? Some people will do that in certain cookers, to keep
heavy flow. Yep.
Heavy flow and keep smoke going into it because they're not, you know, if they're cooking too fast and they want that brisket to kind of pull in more.
Yep.
Because smoke rings, and I wrote this article back when I had a blog, and it's 6 years ago. I don't remember the exact science behind it, but a lot of smoke rings are formed because of surface moisture.
Yes.
The smoke itself reacts with the nitrogen from the smoke reacts with the surface moisture on the meat that forms nitric acid and reacts with the myoglobin that makes that smoke ring.
Correct.
So that's part of and there's more to it. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, that's what a lot of it is. And that's why I think on a cooker like a H2O smoker with Myron mixing, you get beautiful, beautiful smoke rings.
I get killer smoke ring because I have so much moisture in that chamber. But I never have problems with my bark either.
Right. And you're cooking it hot, so you still get this beautiful bark to it too. And that's where that benefit comes from.
Does that have a water pan in it?
Mm-hmm. It has a water pan on steroids in it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So my cooker, like my H2O, which is the 48, I think I cook over like 7 gallons of water.
Do you have the my dad, when he had his H2O, he rigged up like a 5-gallon bucket.
So I just have a hose feed.
Okay, yeah.
So it just has a direct hose feed. Anytime it has a little stopper on it. So if the water goes down, it'll shoot in some water and then it'll pop back up, shoot in some water, pop back up.
Now, if you don't want to give away the secret, that's fine. So when my dad used when he would wrap his briskets, he would actually do it in an aluminum pan, and he would actually have some liquid in the pan with it when he wrapped it.
So what I do is I wrap mine in butcher paper, and then I'll throw them into foil pans and go back into the cooker and let them finish out. And then as soon as they're coming off, what I'll do is I'll take beef broth and I put it around the butcher paper, not inside of it, but just around it. And it just kind of slowly, penetrates inside slowly as it's resting and kind of relaxing and bringing in.
Without messing with your bark.
Exactly.
No.
I like it.
It's kind of funny. The stick burner that I have that sits on my deck, it's a 125 gallon, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 footer. It's a reverse flow. And my baffle is also a water pan. It's a 3-inch deep water pan that I can add from outside of without having to open the door, right? And it's funny you say that because I never really, it does steam while it smokes, but the thing is, like, the gauges could be 2 degrees off the entire distance. It's so efficient that way when it's full of water.
That's the other beautiful thing for me. Like if I open that, open those doors, and then like if I need to mess with something or if I'm adding stuff, because briskets and pork butts go on first, but bellies, I don't need like an hour and a half on them to cook them.
Yep.
So I don't need to. Sometimes I need to open those doors, but I can open the doors and then close the doors, and it's like, boom. Right away, it's like that temp's going right back up because that water's sitting at 212, 215 because it's constant. It's a rolling boil because it's right underneath my fire pit or it's right above my firebox.
No doubt. That's awesome.
The leave button is right next to the chat button.
That is the truth.
Yep.
Oh, my bad.
And the other nice thing too is like it holds temp forever.
Yep.
7 gallons takes a while to cool down.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So like what we'll do on events too, like I'll close her up, and if everything's wrapped in foil or if everything's wrapped, we'll leave that stuff in there for an hour or two. It's still sitting at like 200 degrees.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a big Cambro.
Basically, it's a giant Cambro, which makes my life way easier.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, that's one thing with Elvira, right? Once I started playing with that real estate, I instantly thought of like, now I have room for Cambros full of beans, right? I can do all kinds of like other dishes on the cold end while I'm smoking briskets on this end, and like, because there's just so much room and there's so many different heat pockets. Like once you start playing with them, you can literally cook everything all at once, like in harmony. It's quite nice. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, Mel, I think the more and more events you do, I mean, granted, I know you did 100 mini events at your house leading up to this one. But, I mean, you know, you're going to get this thing dialed in, and it's going to be amazing. Like the stuff that you're going to be able to put out on that in a year.
Yeah.
You're just going to have that.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm having a blast every single time I cook on it. It's learning and playing, right? It's a gigantic toy that makes awesome. So very, very happy with it.
Yeah, like, you know, do you move this here? Do I do this here? Where's my sweet spot for my briskets?
Yep.
Where's my, you know, do I want to put my shoulders over here because they can take a little bit more abuse?
Mm-hmm.
That's something, you know, that a lot of people don't understand. It's like, you know, like for me, Chris, I know you cooked on your dad's mix, and I don't know which one he has, but I find my top shelf's a lot hotter than my lower shelf, just because of that radiant heat off the top of the cooker.
Yeah. He had a 36, and then the guy whose team he was on, I think he had the 48 that you have.
Yeah,
you know, with the 2 doors in the front. My dad just had the one that lifted up. But yeah, I mean, it was a beautifully made, insulated machine that was great for us up in the Midwest. I mean, he since did get rid of it just because he kind of stopped doing the big cooks, and for him to cook like 2 pork butts,
it's
not the most efficient thing for him to do.
A little overkill.
Yeah. But I mean, he loved it when he was wanting to cook more and was kind of in the barbecue circuit doing some of that kind of stuff. It was a blast, and it was a beautiful machine. And like you, he went down to take Myron's class.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was awesome.
That class it's a fantastic class.
Yep.
It really is. I don't think enough people realize like how great barbecue classes can be.
Yeah.
And that's like I teach barbecue classes here, and like before COVID, I was getting great attendances. Like one of the largest classes that I taught was 65 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which was terrifying and very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, you got 65 people that literally know almost nothing about barbecue.
Yeah.
That are asking every question in the book. And it's like, you're still trying to teach them a lesson and put out food, but they all want your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, here we go.
The curveballs that come out of nowhere with people because they don't know, right? And the questions that they come up with that you never even thought of as a question.
That take you a minute. You're like, wait a minute. Hold on. Explain that to me one more time. You do what?
Well, and then, you know, I've done quite a few classes too. And one, it's taken a little bit longer for it to become more mainstream up here in the Midwest than it is in places down like Florida and Texas where everybody wants to do it. Even like experienced cooks want to go to classes. Up here, it's a little bit behind. Maybe after COVID, more people will seek out that knowledge. But shit, where was I going with that?
And this is why he doesn't talk barbecue with surgery.
That's it. Exactly.
He's like, where was that knife going?
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry, madame. I seem to have removed your brisket. That's
Yeah. Wait, he was supposed to have 2 testicles at the end of the surgery, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? He's only got 1.
Work on different types of bones than that.
You know what? I fell asleep welding today. Not a big deal. These things happen.
Holding a gas torch.
That sounds terrifying.
No, it's with automated rollers too, and it's and just one of the millwrights walked by and looks at my weld. He's like, "What the fuck happened there?" I'm like, "I literally fell asleep." Oh, okay, all right.
Questions. That's what it was. Questions in classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people throw out these questions, the other thing that's hard to do is sometimes it's hard to articulate why you do something.
Yeah.
You're like, well, why do you check it then? Well, that's because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I just know when to check it.
One of the first classes I ever taught, I got this question. How long does it take you to start your big green egg?
Oh, every class.
And I'm like, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes.
No.
Oh, it's ready.
He's like, it takes me an hour and a half to get my big green egg to temperature.
Yeah.
And I go, well, what are you using to start it? And he's like, the big green egg starting like not the cube, because they don't do cubes, they do the
squares.
The squares, yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, well, how many squares are you using? I use a whole box.
And it takes him an hour and a half. I use 2 to start my XL.
He uses a whole box.
That's insane.
Was he not opening any vents?
I think what we finally got figured out is he was so worried about the egg going over temperature and like being able to close the vents off in time that he would set his vents to where he was like, okay, if I set the bottom, like that big, and then if I have the top just a little open, I'll be at 250. So he would set everything, light all of them, put the plate setter in, put everything in, and then close it down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that thing had no oxygen.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Like, no wonder it took an hour and a half to light.
So,
see, like, I get so greasy now that I know the temp is going to drop when I'm throwing a brisket or a couple pork butts on.
Right.
And I take that into my equation with how quick I heat it up.
Right.
So that it does its own little like whoop, like, and then I know it end up at 225, but I've like taken a bit of a gamble at the front end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know that once you put your plate setter on, the temp's going to drop 25 to 50 degrees. Once you put that cold brisket on, it's going to drop 10 degrees in there. That all these little things that do it. And it's hard sometimes to explain that to people, what we do by reaction at this point.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's hard to explain to people, especially people that are learning, is just like what we said, that you don't have to obsess about the temperature being in with 5 degrees of where you want your grill temp to be. It said that this should probably take 25 minutes, but it's been 26, 27 minutes. And I'm still 5 temps below being done. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's okay.
It'll tell you.
Well,
right.
See, it's funny. Darren brought up a pretty funny, like, cost him $12 to light it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
People always throw that one at me with my torch. They're like, yeah, but you're lighting way more charcoal than you need to. It's such a waste up front, whatever, right? And my rebuttal to that is I drive a Hummer with a supercharger. If I cared about the fuel to start it, I wouldn't give a, you know what I mean? Like it cost me $5 every time I turn that thing over. I don't, that's not in the equation. And that's also a lie because it's so efficient. When you shut it down, it just snuffs, right? It's
right. And that's the beauty of the lump charcoal.
Yeah.
I mean, the lump's gonna go, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just because you lit it, you didn't light it to the point where you burned it out. You know,
no, it's not exhausted. Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you didn't burn out. It's not like a briquette where you know half a briquette is burned up in what 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and then it's done. Where it's like it's a piece of lump charcoal, it's gonna go. Especially if you're using good lump charcoal. If you're not using that small stuff.
Mike, you know, Mikey, have you had a chance to play with that Brazilian lump from Big Green Egg yet?
I have not. There's no one locally that carries it.
Yeah.
Paul carries it, and I just haven't been able to get up to him yet.
Okay.
Yep.
But he sent me pictures of it.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
I like it. So the only thing that takes a little bit getting used to is it definitely has a different smell when you light it.
Now, is it like Fogo different smell?
It's
eucalyptus.
Yeah, since it's the eucalyptus, when you first light it, I don't want to say it's a chemically smell, but it does have that just different scent when you light it. And I talked to somebody like, well, I lit it and I didn't cook over it because it smelled different. I'm like, honestly, just take the time, let it burn down, cook it. I mean, the last bag I had all these like long, skinny, like branch pieces, and it was beautiful. I had a great cook of that with I did some caribou to pork collars with it over the weekend, and I was doing hot and fast, and I was building a project in my kitchen, and I came out, and pork collars were at 500 degrees going hot and fast. I'm like, well, that's hot.
Yeah.
That's
you know what? I love it. Throwing Lisa's like straight chicken breasts, boneless, skinless chicken breasts for salads. It has a wonderful finish to it.
Oh, it does.
I'm super happy with it. Yeah. And that's something like I don't say every day. The charcoal is like literally flavoring the meat in a nice, just very gentle way.
Yeah, it's really good. What I would just suggest to people is let it get past that first initial lighting, which a lot of people make this mistake anyways with any charcoal. You know, they put everything on too early. Well, before you get to that blue smoke, and that's the number one, I think, mistake that people make with lump charcoal, let's say, or the Big Green Egg that say their food is too smoky. Just get a tiger torch face, and it's beautiful.
I think that's in general with most barbecue, like most.
It is.
You know, they don't give that cooker time to become a thing. You know what I mean? Like be itself for a second.
This is even with my stepdad with his old, like, I think it's a Napoleon or something, old natural gas grill, heavy duty cast iron lid. Like it was a beast, this thing. But he'd throw the steaks on as soon as it started getting warm, and he's literally flavoring the steaks with the grease that's burning off of the burner. And I'm like, no. Let it run for 20 minutes first and then hit it. It's going to be clean and the taste is going to be totally different.
And you're getting that, like, I didn't get that nice char mark, or I didn't get, like, it laid down on it, stuck really hard, and I couldn't flip it and whatever. It's like, because the grate wasn't hot enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a different beast, right? If you want it in 10 minutes, put it in a ninja fryer, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
That's
And that's what, like, I don't know if you guys get this question a lot. I know I did, and I still get it a lot. Well, I cook on gas because when I come home and all this stuff, like the kids want food and blah blah blah. So I gotta grill faster. It's like, man, I can get my Big Green Egg up to temp in 20 minutes. How long are you preheating your gas grill?
Yeah.
20 minutes. What's the difference?
I can cheat and get mine up to 425 degrees in 10 minutes with this little Barbecue Dragon battery-powered fan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, you can do that.
I'll put two of those little starters in there, light it, put that fan on after about 2 or 3 minutes. Within 10 minutes, I have a rip-roaring fire. The gas grill is going to take that long, and this is going to taste so much better.
Yeah.
Or like Mikey said, within 20 minutes of just being open to oxygen, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
By the time you go in and cut everything up, you're ready.
That's like Darren just popped in there, right there. What I do, I come home, I fire, hop in the shower. By the time I get the cut over and everything, it's right to temp anyway. Like it's literally it doesn't make any difference
No.
any way you cut it.
That's why I always think it's like such a, and I think people just use it as an excuse.
Yeah, no, that's all it is.
They're terrified of cooking with real fire.
Yeah. No, we had a foreman. He's now cooking on, I think it's a little KJ, but same deal. Like when he started, he's like, actually, this is too much of a hassle. This will just be for specialty stuff on the weekends. And then halfway through the week, he's like, I think I might pull it out tonight anyway. Like, exactly. It's going to grow on you and you're going to use it more. And then when he figured out the whole heating it first and letting it go, right? And now he's cooking on it every day. And he's like, why didn't I buy a bigger one right off the bat? Like you said, I'm like, well, because I knew, like, I have this conversation with people. And like, we're going years now where people are on their third egg with me talking about it. And they're like, I remember 3 years ago you saying start with the XL, but I didn't, and I went with the medium, and now then Then
I went to a large because I thought a large would be a good idea, and now I'm finally buying an XL.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I don't know. It's definitely a lifestyle, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's everyone around me. As soon as they eat a couple times here, they know that there's something special that's happening here that they just can't recreate at home, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a charcoal cooker of some kind or whatever, a barbecue or smoker shows up in their backyard, and that then it starts. It evolves from there,
that's
right?
A little bit of you, though. You know what I mean?
Might be.
That's the other thing is like, people will say like, don't tell me all your secrets. I'll tell you all my secrets.
100%.
You're never going to recreate me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's the last thing. That's the last secret.
Yeah.
It's you. You know what I mean? Like it's that pitmaster. It's who's ever doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not like, some kind of magic trick.
Yeah.
You can go get an old hickory and, create crazy good barbecue. You can get a Southern Pride and make great barbecue on it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's that person that's cooking.
Yeah.
It's how we throw sticks in.
And not
injecting the love.
Yep.
And not just cooking, but cooking it consistently. That's the other thing. And that's the one thing that I really liked about when my dad was doing these barbecue competitions is you would go there and guys would invite other team members into their rig, they would show them how they would do it. They'd be like, hey, this is what I do. If you can beat me, good on you.
Yeah.
And if you can beat me consistently, well then you're just better. And that's just the thing that it is. I mean, there really is, as much as there is a competition in barbecue and competition of pride and everything, there's a sense of community and brotherhood,
very much,
or sisterhood, where it's this is what we do, and if you can do better than me or be better than me, great. Good.
That's why I love the judges side of it so much, because there's no shigging when you're a judge. Right away, they're like, "Oh, come on in. Let me show you whatever I can show you." I'm like, "Yes, let's do that." Yeah, I love it. I absolutely, because up here, like, there's some pretty fierce competition sometimes. Guys will set their tents up backwards, and that's when you know who you're dealing with, right? Like,
so it's like the wall is facing you.
Yeah, and they're all, you know what I mean? Like you know when they're doing something because there's like towels up on the.
And the funny thing is that the teams that are at the top,
are telling
they don't
you
give
everything.
a shit.
They'll tell you.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. Yeah, it's wide open. Yeah.
One of the coolest comps that I was at is my dad's team was cooking right next to Darren Worth, who is a big name in the barbecue circuit, especially he's from Iowa, Smoking D's Barbecue. And he would come out after every single one of his turn-ins and like have a pan of food, give it to everybody. You could sit there and ask him questions. He would answer your questions. And it was, that was some of the best barbecue I've ever had. Coming from him. I think, I'm not sure if he's being inducted or if he was just up for it, but I think he's up for like the Barbecue Hall of Fame this year.
I think he's up for it. I don't know if he's been inducted yet. I know Rodney Scott was also on there.
Rodney Scott, I think Leon Whippen was.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, but that caliber of people, they're the guys that'll just say, hey, this is what I do.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah, because there's no point in hiding it, right? There's no. It's one thing, and this is a shameless plug here, but up here, Snake River Farms gold grade briskets are pretty rare. They're quite hard to get a hold of up here. So it's pretty easy to tell who's got the ringer when table, because it just when it rolls across the table, like you just kind of know which ones.
Right.
It's always funny. That's I love it. I love it.
I was gonna say, like we I don't do many barbecue competitions, but it's like when people are like, "Why don't you do barbecue competitions?" I'm like, "I do them every weekend." Like, really? Yep. Which competitions are you going to? I'm like, "Yeah, I compete with you for your money."
Yeah, and I win consecutively.
Yeah. That's every fucking weekend.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch, I think it was season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters with Johnny Trigg, who's like the godfather of barbecue. No. He'll say flat out, he goes, I don't like the barbecue that I cook for competitions because it's not the barbecue that I like to eat.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that gets me. That's one of the people ask me, well, why don't you do barbecue competitions? I'm like, well, I don't like cooking stuff for other people. I don't like cooking stuff the way that I would, necessarily want to eat something. Just to get a better score. Like, I would rather cook a brisket and do something else with it. But you can't do that at, these KCBS competitions, which is fine. It's just not my style.
Yeah. That's, I cook barbecue that I want people to enjoy it. I want a lot of people to enjoy it. And I enjoy feeding people. At the end of the day, like, I do it to feed you. And it's like, I always get the question, oh, do you eat a ton of barbecue? No. Do you eat your barbecue? Like, you must eat really well because you cook all this stuff. No. You really think that I want to eat barbecue on a Saturday?
After cooking it for 24 hours?
Let me. I have to say. So up here, A&W is open 24 hours, right? Yeah. Their breakfast menu, they still serve hamburgers. So I get up like stupid early on a Sunday. I get the family breakfast, and I get me like 4 hamburgers, and the wife is like, "Didn't you eat brisket last night?" I'm like, fuck no, it went right in the cooler. Like, I didn't want anything to do with that. I had like a quick salad and I went to bed, and now I got my burgers from A&W. Like, this is what I...
What are your burgers called again?
What?
What are those burgers called again?
The teen burgers.
Yeah.
The teen burgers, yes.
Right. The first time you said that, you're like, yeah, I got 14 burgers. And I'm like...
14 burgers, yeah.
Like, motherfucker, you ate 14 burgers?
It's... I'm not lying. Like,
I remember that. I was watching that when you said that to me. You're like, huh?
It's a moment. You have to be part of the moment. But like,
no, I was gonna say we need to have a talk if you're having 10 plus 4 burgers for breakfast.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Oh, 14 burgers. Yeah, okay, I get. Yeah.
We need to have a talk, Mel.
That's the thing. Like, dude, I got friends that cook. Like, some of them are in Michelin star restaurants, and it's like, you want to know what they're eating?
Yeah.
After service, McDonald's looks fantastic.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. I know.
You can't eat that anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, just done.
I know. It's that. So when we go up to the West Coast, we do our little fishing trips, right? We got family up there on the island. All they have is salmon and cod and prawns, right? It's all heavy seafood. The meat is not so good up there, right? So when we go up there, we bring a big cooler full of Alberta beef, and then we just swap it out for all our prawns and salmon and stuff when we're leaving. It's a good deal, but it's hilarious, man. I couldn't imagine relocating to a new region and having to get used to their food. With what I'm used to eating all the time, it's just so much different.
Mel, you've done it with your cousins where you were on the salmon boats, right?
Yes.
So were you on the salmon boats for like a month at a time or anything like that ever?
Well, a couple weeks. We go up there for a couple weeks.
So when you're out there, you're eating salmon pretty much, right?
No, we got coolers of beef.
No, he's bringing his own beef.
Okay, I guess when Mel's out there, it's different.
Yeah, we're still eating tomahawks. That's what I mean.
When everybody else goes out there.
When everybody else is out there,
yes.
I mean, what they're eating is salmon. So by the time they get back to shore, they don't want anything to do with it.
No,
that's no.
Right.
I know. That is one thing.
When Mel goes out there,
you're out there salmon fishing, right? And you're setting traps, you're doing whatever. But right away, for me, I'm a huge crab fan. So we set the pots, catch a bunch of crabs right away. We cook them right on the boat in ocean water, right? And then we throw them in a cooler on ice, just the crab legs. So as you're sitting there all day fishing for salmon, you're just shucking crab legs. And I'm like a big fat fucking otter just sitting there, bits of crab all over me.
All over your stomach.
My cousin's laughing at me. He's like, you just ate 5 gallons of crab legs. I'm like, you're damn right. We need to throw another pot here right away. We're running out of crab legs. He's like, how do you?
And if you look at that monetarily though, it's like, dude, you just ate $500 worth of crab legs.
It's crazy, man. Like, it's nuts. But yeah. But then, man, you need a steak. After that, you need a brisket. It's.
So do you have drawn butter when you're doing that at all?
Yeah, there's butter.
Okay, so
when it's cold though.
So
when it's cold, you don't need
a stick of butter in one hand and a crab.
Yeah. Talk to my doctor. Yeah.
Spray bottle of butter.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He just brings the,
Need a hit.
It's fantastic. Here we go. He's got a flask of butter.
That's fantastic.
That is awesome. Like, every time we watch Deadliest Catch or, one of those shows, I'm like, I just want one pot. Just give me one pot. It'll fill up my fridge or my freezer. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Especially Kings.
So like when you're doing that, Mel, like how many like crabs do you guys catch? Would you say?
It depends how many pots you throw out, right? But if you're throwing like 10 crab traps, you're gonna get a couple coolers worth of crab.
Okay.
So it's decent. Like, it's a good haul.
And that'll last Mel 4 days.
Exactly. No, but that's you gauge it, right? Like, we throw the prawn traps out to great big BC spot prawns, right? I can literally eat a gallon of spot prawns if it's there and available.
Yeah.
I just like popcorn, man. Bing, 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 bing. Like, and if they're there.
Now, does that ever ruin you going back, like coming back home? And
man.
Having to go buy.
I live in the prairies. I live in the prairies, right? We're surrounded by mountains on one side, and then there's just like farm for like ever, right? So our fresh seafood is 3 to 5 day seafood already. Never mind the price or anything else. Like, I can't even explain what it's like to pull something out of a trap that's kicking in your hand. You take the pot and you scoop the water out, put it on the burner, and like plop. The taste from that, it's nuts.
That's kind of like what I'm asking. Like, is it even for you, like getting like store-bought seafood? Is it like night and day, being like, oh my god, this is just not.
Maybe if I bought a Dungeness crab today from the local market live, it would be 20% as good.
Okay.
Like 20%. But it's still nice. Nice to have Dungeness, right? It's nice to, but it's like night and day. And I think a lot of it's the water quality, whatever goes through their lungs or their gills, right?
Yeah.
They lose a lot of that flavor, the wild taste of the seafood meat, right? Like, I don't know. Stress, I'd guess they lose a lot of flavor through stress, but.
So is that the type of crab that you're catching out there is more the Dungeness crabs?
Yeah, Dungeness.
So how much of
Dungeness
their meat
crab
is sell?
They're decent. They got decent sized legs on them. They're not long like a snow crab. They're tight legs, but they're thick. So,
but you can get a decent amount from the body of the crab and those, can't you?
In the knuckles, yeah. There's a ton of meat in the knuckles. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's got to be like night and day, like you said, though. It's got to be.
Oh,
you know,
it's so hard to explain, man. Like, and same deal like the roe. When you're digging the roe out of the salmon, and it's like right there. Yeah, it's an event. Like everyone, if you have the chance to go just once, just to try it. It's awesome. When you're gutting your fish and you throw it up in the air, and a bald eagle comes and like rips it right out of the air, right in front of you. It's wild,
dude.
Exactly. No, it's wild. Or if you see an otter, that means all your crab traps are empty. So you pull the potato gun out of the cabin, and then you start.
Now the
otters suck.
Will they go into the crab traps?
The crabs are gone. As soon as there's an otter, the crabs are gone. So you wanna prevent the otter situation as quickly as possible. That's the get between Mel and his crabs. The potato gun's coming out. That's it. I'm just saying that's
because then Mel can't be his otter self.
Yeah, Mel needs to be the otter. The otters don't get to be the otter. That's.
Poor little animal. It's just like, dude, I just want a meal.
Yeah. That
is the best visual I've had all day. Please tell me you're wearing your pit viper glasses doing that too.
Oh, you know it. Tarps off, Chris. I'm up there for 2 weeks. Tarps off for 2. We don't sunburn. I don't know. We're sun people, so we don't sunburn, and that's it. You just got the tight shorts.
Sunburn?
No, tight shorts, skate shoes, and ocean surf, baby. That's it.
You're putting really weird images in my head.
I know. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Tight shorts and Mel ottering some crap.
That's it. With the flask of butter.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Now, do other people see you like that, or is it just you?
Well, there's not a ton of people out in the ocean, I'm not going to lie to you, but the people that do appreciate the view.
Of course.
They know you're from Alberta right away. They can see that. They know right away, but
they know, they're like, oh, makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, so here's the other thing about nature out there. People are always thinking like, oh, everything's all killer whales will sometimes stop you from docking your boat in the harbors because they're just swimming around banging boats for no reason. Like animals are jerks most of the time, just so you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
The things I don't deal with in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, man. It's a funny time.
Sunday morning at 4 a.m., it sounded like somebody was trying to break into my house.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I'm laying there for a while, and I just keep hearing these banging noises. I'm like, what the fuck? So I got a baseball bat in my closet. I grabbed that, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's coming outside. So I'm like, all right, I don't need that. I walk downstairs, and it sounds like there's heavy breathing coming from my fireplace. I'm like, well, that's messed up. I'm like, I look in the fireplace. There's nothing in there. I'm like, all right, it still sounds like it's coming outside. I walk out front, or I walk outside, walk around back, look up at the top of my fireplace. A chimney, a giant owl flies off of there carrying something. And then I see this other head still sticking up there. It's 4 a.m. There's a second owl up there. And all of a sudden that flies away. I'm like, okay, that chimney is like, as I'm saying that because I can hear that owl screeching out in here. So, and the chimney is right above where our bed is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So they flew away. I walk outside the next morning. Shit, dude, there's feathers everywhere. There's blood on the side of my chimney. There's these huge owl pellets laying down on the ground there. So I had to quick throw those up and throw them in my woods. But like, yeah, at 4 a.m., these things were, 10 feet above our heads, sitting on top of our metal chimney cap, ripping something to shreds and banging up against it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Nature, man. Nature.
And it probably flew and dropped it on there to kill it.
Right. And then they're both they're banging against the top of the chimney, which is making all this ruckus. And then their rhythmic screeching, which is what I'm hearing now, when it was coming down through the vent of the chimney, sounded like this heavy breathing. And it was weird, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's...
So there used to be a drug dealing ice cream truck that used to go down my back alley on Friday nights. Is that like normal for you guys too?
No, we don't have that.
Yeah.
We actually, one of the apartments that we lived in the city, we opened the windows because it was like nice, and like all we hear is like heavily Hispanic music, like just super loud. And I'm like, I'm closing the shit. And our apartment backed up into another parking lot, which was basically there'd always be like Mexican guys that would hang out, and I'd go out and drink with them, and they'd be out till like 3-4 in the morning just drinking every fucking night.
No,
you guys got animals. We got people that just drink every night.
Mikey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I might be that neighbor.
Are you blasting a reggaeton?
Yeah, just because I don't have those neighbors, I'm pretty sure I might be those neighbors.
But I mean, how close is your neighbor?
Oh, I have. I'm in the city. We got a fence line and then other houses.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have a turtle.
I do. I have tortoises. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
How many do you have? Are you at liberty to say?
I have 5 tortoises.
Any turtles?
I have water turtles, yes, but they don't go for walks. They stay in their tank.
Mel is, I would say he's an amateur, but I don't think he's an amateur, but he is also a herpetologist.
Yes.
And that's not the study of herpes, Mikey.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Reptiles.
I thoroughly enjoy reptiles. I used to volunteer at the zoo when I was younger.
They let you out?
They did let me out, yeah. Yeah. With haste. With haste. Yeah.
That just
yeah.
Just don't have that here.
Yeah, Chicago Zoo is quite nice, isn't it?
It's a beautiful zoo. No, we have a great zoo.
Yeah.
You just can't own 5 turtles.
Oh.
Or tortoises. Like, you just can't do that.
No.
Like,
that's so weird because according to our media, if you live in the States, you guys can own tigers and shit.
I don't think you can own a tiger in Chicago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, it might be frowned upon.
Florida for sure is fine. Yeah.
And you can do a lot of things in Florida.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma?
Oklahoma, yeah.
Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, if I'm not wrong, I think there's some kind of like crazy statistic that there's more tigers in Texas, like in cages and shit, than there is in the wild.
Yeah, as far as I understand, you're not allowed to tell anybody from Texas what they can or cannot do. So there's that.
That makes sense.
If that's how I'm understanding it from up here. Everyone laughs at me at work all the time. They're like, never go to Texas, Mel. You'll never come back. I'm like, that sounds neat.
No, see, I think you'd be okay.
I'd be fine.
Because you start talking about barbecue and they'd be like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, where's your oil rigs? Where's the steers? Where's the 4x4? What kind of guns we got?
You're good.
We're good. That's it. Let's blow something up. Yeah. Tannerite. Let's do it. That's
you
it.
Literally, go up in a helicopter and shoot some wild boar.
But they just leave them there. They don't like double back for them. That's crazy.
Because there's so many of them.
I can't see that.
There are so many of them there.
Yeah,
well, they're all bad.
They're like invasive species.
Are they all bad shots then, or what? Because I feel like you could do some pretty good damage on an afternoon helicopter hunting tour. Just sit with the 50 cals that I see them floating around with. I'm pretty much turning them into popcorn at that point. That's
finding them.
Is it? Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like finding. They're smart little creatures.
Yeah, they're mean buggers, man.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're crazy mean. Have you guys ever cooked wild boar?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, It's fantastic.
Yep.
It's just hard to get. Very hard to get. we have we got a guy down in Chicago that actually imports and exports wild game.
Okay. Yep.
And he can get some great stuff for me.
Yeah, I love those guys, man. We used to have one right close to the house here, and he shut her down over COVID because I don't know, his shit dried right up on COVID, right? But
our guy's he's still there because he did wild game, but then he also did regular stuff.
Yeah. So
the wild game stuff kind of dried up during COVID, but yeah, I mean he's still a business, so he can bring it back. I would assume.
Well, that's one of my bucket list cooks is a whole emu. So I'd like to try my hand at that.
Didn't you do that with that 38-pound turkey?
The turkey, yes, but that was a registered turkey. It was not an emu. I would like to.
Turkey.
Where did you find a 38-pound turkey?
We've got amazing farms up here, Mikey. We have amazing farms.
What the hell did you put in it?
What?
Like what did they inject in the turkey to make it 38 pounds?
No, so here we have like the Hutterites are like our Amish.
Okay.
And when you buy a turkey or when you buy a chicken from them, you would swear it's a turkey, but it's a chicken.
Right.
And then their turkeys are like they're like this big. It's crazy. Like you can quite literally get a 38-pound turkey no problem up here. And it was phenomenal too. That's you would think, okay, well the meat's gonna be really like, I
was gonna say
rough.
it wasn't like dried out or like not dried out, you know what I mean? Like really tough.
No, it was absolutely tender and beautiful. And when I cut the breast up, it looked like a picanha. That's how big the breast was. It looked like I was carving a picanha. It was hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. The breasts were, like my size of breasts. They were fantastic.
Dolly?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even know. I think the biggest turkeys I've seen down here are like 21, 22 pounds.
No.
I've seen 26 in our grocery store.
You can find a 24, 25 every once in a while.
No.
But on average, you're looking at 20 to 23 pounds.
Well, in me, I'm usually in that 14-pound sweet spot. I would I'll usually grab 2 14-pound turkeys, spatchcock them, and this year I went up to that 24-pound. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna do one and see what it's like. It turned out good. It was fine. It took a little bit longer, but I still.
Now you spatchcock that one?
Yeah.
Isn't it fun breaking that breastbone?
Yeah.
Like that fucking big.
Oh. Yeah.
CPR.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. CPRs. Yeah. See it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for me. I'm in that 12, 14, 16-pound range is where I usually like my turkeys.
Yeah.
I would be intimidated as hell by a 38-pound turkey.
That 2XL and it treated it like it was a 20-pound turkey.
Not this Thanksgiving, but not COVID Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
The Thanksgiving before COVID. We did, I think I did 36 birds.
Wow.
For catering.
Yep.
So we did 36 birds. This year we did 11.
Yep.
Just because a lot of people weren't doing it.
Do you spatchcock those or do you do them whole and smoke them?
I cook them whole.
No. That's a big thing up here. Even the farmers, they build smoke sheds just for the Christmas and Thanksgiving rush where they smoke their turkeys. So they'll raise like a small batch of turkeys, brine them and smoke them themselves just for sale for those holidays.
Yeah.
Like it's a big jam up here. Everyone gets crazy about their smoked turkey. And if you do it properly, it tastes like a ham almost. I love them. They're quite nice.
It can get very similar to a ham.
Yeah.
We had one guy that was like, "Well, is there any way you can make it like pink inside, like all the way up?" Like I'm like, "You want me to brine it completely?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, we don't do that."
Yeah, like the
pastrami his turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, pastrami his turkey.
Drumsticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You guys are big Disney people.
We are.
Oh yeah.
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 You have is it Tinkerbell tattoo?
I have I have a Tinkerbell and a Captain Hook, along with all of Neverland.
Okay. So
Why?
That's your jam?
Tinkerbell.
Why?
Have you seen her ass?
I was gonna say,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Do I have to give you more reasons?
No. But what's with Captain Hook? Was that your favorite movie as a kid, or what?
No, I just kind of like him.
Yep.
I feel like Mel might have a little bit of a bond with Captain Hook.
I do. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
I like
instantly
pirates.
found this.
I have a thing for pirates.
No, that's 100%. I get that.
Yeah, like I like pirates. I feel like I connect very well.
Well, that's because they're honest people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It's always better to let someone know you're about to rob them right before you rob them.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that part about them. That's
like, hey, I'm gonna steal all this shit.
That's just so you know. Yeah, that's you ready? Okay. All right. That's
I'm probably
I like
getting
that.
drunk. Here we go.
Yeah, that's man. When Pirates of the Caribbean came out, my wife was like, "Ah, fuck." I'm like, "Look what he's having for breakfast. I'm gonna have that for breakfast. That's fantastic. That's
what, rum?
Yeah, it's reasonable."
Why is all the rum gone?
Yeah, that's exactly. That's as soon as I saw that, I was like, "This is genius. This is."
Oh yeah.
And that was about the same time that Bamboo rum came out. Tastes like pineapples and bananas. Oh,
documentary on Mel's life.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's a good time.
Rum's dangerous for me. Rum is dangerous. So can I can't really drink whiskey anymore. My body doesn't like it. I don't know what it is.
Ooh.
I drank a lot of it before.
But luckily you can drink beer.
And I can drink a lot of beer.
I've seen it.
And I don't get drunk that fast.
Yeah.
Scary.
That's important.
Like, how many beers have you had? I'm like, I don't know, 7.
Yeah.
Still good.
Yep. Well, that's important. Man, back in the day, so I don't know. We have a different way of calculating things. What's a 40-ouncer worth down there?
Of beer?
Of rum. How do you guys measure your rum bottles?
Oh.
It's like a liter.
Liter or a 1.75?
No, 1.75.
Okay, so a 2.6 is a liter?
A liter would be 33 ounces.
Yes.
Okay. Where are you? This is a liter?
Yes.
Yes.
And then this is
a handle. That's
handle
1.75.
Okay, so my wife will vouch for this if you need to hear it, but maybe 5 years ago, I would have a handle to myself on a Friday and then again on a Saturday.
Jesus.
See, we would, the year after we were done with college, we all lived in the same apartment complex, and I thought we drank a lot because I'd go through a handle in a weekend.
Yeah.
Not like a handle in a night and another one.
No, that's if we had a bonfire going, I would have like a 12-pack of Diet Coke and a handle of Captain Morgan. And it would be like splashy in the morning. And I'd be
do that with a bottle of Jack.
Oh.
Oof.
Yeah. No, the wife called me on it this weekend because I had like 6 rums, and she's like, "Look at you. You're 3 sheets to the wind. Like, you're getting old." I'm like, "Stop picking on me. Don't make me drink more. Like, what are you doing? It's not very nice of you."
Prove my manliness.
Yeah, that's it.
You can
she's
get
like, "Remember when you
quick."
Yeah, remember when you used to do a whole bottle? I'm like, "Geez, aren't we both glad that those days are gone, eh?" Like, that's yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I feel better about myself now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, for sure.
It's always it was a good youth.
Yep.
Well, and the beautiful thing was back then you could do it, sleep for 5 hours, wake up and be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up at work, getting paid.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Wake up, go to work.
Yep.
Be okay with it, and then keep drinking when you left.
Yeah. Now you do it, and you're in rough shape until Tuesday.
Oh, buddy, ain't that the truth, eh?
I don't know. I'm still pretty good. I can work hungover. I don't get hungover very often, knock on wood. I don't know. But I might be a little younger than you guys.
It's when I stop. When I stop is when it catches. If I try and baby it at all, then it like rapes me.
Yeah.
If I don't baby it, it's fine. But as soon as I like give it any attention, it just doubles down on me. So
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can.
It's like me when I get a cold. I got to call in sick for a week, right? We need to double up on our Netflix subscription because I'm dying here. This is and you can't even joke about that now with COVID. They'll take you in the ditch and shoot you. So
yeah. Now it's like you're like, oh, I don't, like I had a scratch or like something. They're like, oh, I don't want to see you for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. You just lose your house now. You're done.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah. That's how we are now in our toolbox meetings in the morning, right? Someone sneezes and everyone's like,
Rona.
yeah, right away. Yeah.
Well, we're finally like, Chris, you guys still rocking masks up there?
I have to at work, obviously, when you're in the hospital and in clinic. No, like this has been new for me in the past week is where you need
to find a new co-host. Something weird's happening there.
Yeah, Kev is done. Like I would say within the past week or so, it's like nobody in the stores now is wearing masks.
Oh, we don't. Yeah, it's kind of gone here.
Yeah,
which is like great, but not at the same time. Like I sometimes have a small smoker's cough, so I'll like cough for a second, clear my throat, and people are like, dude, I'm fine. I'm good.
Right.
Like we're good.
But yeah, masks are still 100% up here.
Yeah.
They won't let you into a store or anything without one. Like it's half the people drive with them on.
Yeah, that's the interesting ones.
I'm like, what? Like literally, as soon as I walk out of a building, I'm like, done. Like,
you know what else they do, right?
Oh,
they wear condoms to bed alone.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah.
Oh.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So what big cooks do you boys have coming up?
I am.
Are they doing Egg Fest this year, by the way? Are they going to do it, or are they still going to maybe back out this year? I know some people have brought back Egg Fests.
Some people have done some. I don't know exactly where Big Green Egg stands right now. I'm not sure if they have an exact feeling on that yet either.
I know Wassy said they were not going to be doing the Sunshine Egg Fest.
Okay.
Or at least I don't believe they're going to. They may change, or at least last I heard, I should say.
There'll definitely be a few Egg Fests out there. I haven't planned any events yet. Like I'm not doing any classes or anything like that. I'm taping another segment this weekend for my morning show for Father's Day that people in Wisconsin will be able to see on Good Day Wisconsin on next Thursday, the 17th. But other than that, I'm just going to be kind of doing my own thing at home, I think, this year. And we'll see if I get back into it. Mel, you got any big cooks coming up this weekend?
Not so much this weekend. Father's Day is when? Next week?
The 20th.
2 weeks. Okay. I might have something planned for Canada Day, which is down the road. But this weekend, probably nothing. Probably not much. Last weekend, I went kind of balls to the wall. I did a couple briskets and stuff and whatever. But that being said, by the time I get there, I'll probably have a ton of stuff to do.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I can't sit idle. That's the thing. Like it's alien to me now on a Saturday at 6:30 in the morning, like not lighting something or doing something. So it just kind of happens anyway.
I'm halfway through my day, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's
6 a.m. We're wrapping briskets.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I hope it gets there soon, bud. I hope it gets there soon. I have so many questions for you about that trailer.
Yeah.
And what it took for you to let go.
What do you mean?
That's my big, like, your regular job you had.
You know what it was? I was taking more time off to cook.
Yeah.
Than I was working.
Yeah.
So it became one of those. I was at a stall.
Yeah.
Right. So I was at this point where it was either I jump full time into barbecue.
Yeah.
And go for it.
Yeah, or give up.
Or we're never going to grow this company.
Exactly.
This company's never going to go bigger. And I understand, like, there's a lot of, like, guys out there that are like, make sure your side hustle pays all your bills before you turn it into your whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I think that works with a lot of different side hustles. I don't think that works with food.
No.
And I don't think that works with barbecue in general because it takes so much time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't go to work on a Friday, come home at 4 or, come home at 3 early.
Yeah.
And then go to the kitchen and start cooking for an event that was at 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No,
so
that's
it's like, how do I move the ball?
No.
Well, I have to jump.
It's crazy, man. I couldn't even imagine what it was like.
I have to jump.
Yeah.
There's no other choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts, man.
You start moving, and it's crazy. Like when I jumped, you started seeing that ball move further down the field.
Yeah.
Because I was able to take phone calls at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
To talk to somebody.
So I got some buddies up here that are doing like competition barbecue and stuff. They hit the States all the door before COVID, right? Doing that gauntlet in the States as well as catering up here or doing small pop-ups and stuff like that and making it work. And I'm like, how do you make money at competition barbecue? Oh, no, we don't. We make money at our events and stuff by doing competition barbecue. I was like, wow, that's like a really neat way of looking at things. But how do you how does this work? And no one wants to get into those details, right? But I get it.
I mean, I'm one of the people that'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
I'll sit down and I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
You got to make sure your menus are priced correctly. And you got to make sure that's one of the big things. I think that's one of the hard things for a lot of guys is pricing. Pricing it so that you can make a living.
Right. You have to value your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the product's time, the cost of the product, but your time that you're putting into it.
Yeah.
I got friends that are like, oh, I'm going to start catering. I'm going to start doing this. What price should I charge?
Yeah.
I'm charging, $60 to cook a pork shoulder.
Yeah.
I had a friend that called me and she's like, hey, can you do a brisket for a close friend of mine? I go, absolutely, no problem. What does she want? Well, I usually just do a full packer brisket for her. Okay. How much is it going to be? It's going to be $190.
Yeah.
What? She's not going to pay that.
Yeah.
She's not getting a brisket from me.
Yeah. That's so my buddies, when I'm explaining the whole pork butt, right? Yeah. And then breaking it off into dime bags. And they're like, well, no, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like, but if we were on a street corner, this would be the hustle. The hustle would be the dime bags. This is every taco gets one. Come on now. Roll the money in. That's
and I mean, that's something that we do too. We offer 2 pound pork, like 2 pounds of pork.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Yep.
And then all you got to do is reheat.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
We'll give it to you, and I think it's $25 for 2 pounds.
Yep.
So it's $12.50 a pound.
Yep.
Here you go. Reheat instructions. Yep. Here you go. Go for it. And
yep.
I mean, we were doing that during COVID,
yep.
like when everything got shut down, and that was selling like crazy.
Yep.
Because people would buy it and they'd be like, "Oh, cool! So like on a Tuesday night, I can literally just take it, plop it into some hot water.
Yep.
Let that shit come up to temp, and I have dinner for my kids.
Yep.
25, 30 minutes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You take it out of the freezer. Take it out of the freezer before you leave or before you start work because you weren't leaving for work. Put it in the refrigerator. Let it, thaw, so it wasn't frozen. And then put it in. I was like, put it in a pot of hot water.
Yep.
We had microwave heat safe containers. Put it in there. Let it come up to temp. If you want to mix it with some sauce, mix it with some sauce. If you don't.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's a great way to save too on stuff if you're over, which I doubt happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, we were just cooking shoulders to make that at that point.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's how it is now. Like there's people are having a small wedding or something, right? And they call me up. They're like, "Can you help me out? Is there any way that you can prep?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got that in the freezer right now. Not a big deal. Like I can put that together." They're like, "You're just sitting on that much?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I cook a couple briskets every weekend, so it's not that big a deal. I save them for lunch and stuff, right?" But
and then you're gonna have to. And what you got to start doing is you got to start making it a big deal, being like, "Hey, no, you got to give me 72, hours in advance, and I need a certain amount to light my cooker."
Yep. No, exactly. Yeah.
Because after a while, it's cool to help people and it's cool to bust small things out.
Yeah.
But like, I may sound like an asshole, but it's like, dude, I don't want to do a catering job that's $150.
No.
$250. You know what I mean?
That's right. Like when I rolled Elvira out, the first event I had, we almost pre-sold 500 tickets before the government shut us down and then switched to patio only. And I was like,
bless you.
I was like, if that's going to be where we start, like maybe we should just stick to that. You know what I mean? Because that was cash in the bank. After so many tickets sold, you break even. After that, you're doing all right. Like it's, yeah. And then, you don't want to do your birthday party for 30 guys because you're like, I won't break it even with wood.
Right.
Fire it up. Like, yeah.
Like lighting the cooker costs too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
Like we're getting questions right now because we got the trailer now. So we're getting people asking, they're like, because food trucks are huge down here right now. It's like the thing to have food trucks to your party. Well, we really want you to come cook on site. Cool. How many people you guys got? There's 15 of us? No.
Yeah. Yeah. I can be there from 7 to 17. Make sure everyone's standing out front. Yeah.
Like
we're going to throw the food at you.
Yeah. Like I'm not coming. Like unless you want to pay me $2,000.
Yeah.
To come and sit with you and drink with you.
To cook on a Saturday night for 15 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like no.
That's crazy business.
Like I didn't build the trailer for that.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those things where it's like you really gotta value your time.
Right, and that's something that's got to be hard starting out is learning to say no.
Oh, absolutely.
When you need to say no, and making sure that you're getting compensated accordingly for the amount of work that you're doing, the amount of effort you're putting in, and not only that, but for what you could be doing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if it's a Saturday night, you're just going to be sitting there with a food truck cooking for 15 people. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And that's the hard part is some people are like, yeah, but we really want it. No, I understand that you really want it, but it's like, I can't afford to come out for that.
Right.
And it like, we get thrown, for some odd reason, we get thrown against a lot of taco trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're like, yeah, but the taco truck guy said that it was going to be $12.99 a person. And I go, okay. Well, why are you guys $17.99 a person? Because the taco truck took 2 hours to prep, and I've been cooking for the last 17.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of difference between me and the taco truck.
Right. I'm not cooking tacos.
You know what I mean? Like, and nothing against tacos. I fucking love tacos.
Oh yeah.
But it's like it's a different world. Same thing with, like, you know, guys that are like, oh, we'll make smash burgers. Cool.
No.
What's the prep in smash burgers?
You make those to order.
Yeah, but what's the prep?
Oh, right.
We've got the ghost kitchens running the gambit on those fucking smash burger companies right now.
Yeah.
Don't have food trucks or anything. Like, they're running out of those rented kitchen bays.
Yep.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Because you go on their website and you think it's a brick and mortar joint.
Nah, it's just ghost kitchen.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Bing, 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 bing. Like, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a game changer, man. These ghost kitchens and stuff like that.
No,
it's,
a lot of restaurants down here are running ghost kitchens out of their restaurant.
Yeah.
Where it's not even, they're just running somebody else's menu.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yep.
And they're just filling those orders.
Yep. Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's like the Wild West now.
A little bit, yeah. It's kind of changing.
Yeah.
I mean, and we do, like, one of the hardest things is, like, not going to certain breweries anymore, right? Being like, I love you guys. You guys are fantastic people. Because I get to know the owners, the managers, and all that stuff. You like these people, and it's really hard to be like, I can't come work here anymore.
Yeah. Because
I can't make $400 on a Friday night.
No.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Where it's like when we were first starting out, like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, like, I was trying to build a name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where now it's like I can go to an event and work for 2.5, 3 hours, serve 300 people out the window.
Yeah.
And do, $3,700, $4,000.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, or do I want to go sit for the same amount of time and make $400?
Yeah. No, exactly. Yep.
It's a game.
Yep.
Trying to figure it out.
That's the trick. Up here, we got like farmers markets and stuff, and there's a couple of weird little trailers that hook up there. And the one guy, he's got a smoker off the back of his trailer. It's built a lot like yours.
Yeah.
And he's got nothing in the smoker. He's just burning wood chips, right? Just to get people's attention, whatever. And then everything's coming off of steam trays, which is whatever. Like, it's decent enough. I'm not complaining, but he laughs. He's like, man, all of this is sous vide. It's like, I don't do any of this on site ever. I do it all at home during the week. And then... sous vides it up, throws it in the steamer, and on the bun it goes, and away you go. Just right there. And people are none the wiser. They're thinking it's happening right there. No one gives a shit. They're getting good brisket on a bun, and away they go.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that, like, that's the hard part of, like, we never did well at farmers markets.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, like, farmers markets down here, for some odd reason, a lot of people, like, want samples. And they're like, hey, can I get a free sample? They're like, what can I sample? I'm like, if you look at our menu, all of those are samples.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, really? I can sample everything? I go, yeah, the prices are right next to them.
Yeah.
If you want a sample of brisket, it's $15.
Yeah.
If you want a sample of pulled pork, it's $13.
Yeah.
And they're like, how's that a sample?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care how much of you eat of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once it leaves me, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But it's learning. It's learning those games. Now
Yeah.
we're like I said, we're more in breweries. We're in a ton of breweries. And we do a lot of the beer scene. We just did a collaboration with SoHop. We did a smoked porter.
Nice.
So I put out my first beer, which is kind of crazy.
Awesome.
Obviously, like I couldn't sell it. They sell it all and all that stuff. The other thing that we do, Mel, this might be a good venture for you too. We collab with the breweries on like Father's Days, Mother's Days, and stuff like that on big like holidays, whatever, like around the 4th and stuff like that. And we'll do meal deals.
Yep.
So like we'll do like you get a rack of ribs, mac and cheese, coleslaw, and cornbread for $45.
Yep.
Plus the brewery will normally put a 4-pack on top of it, and it'll be like $60 out the door.
Yep.
And it's a meal for two. You get 2 beers a piece.
Yep.
And people love it.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's awesome. That's
you pre-sell it all.
Yep.
So you know what you're cooking.
Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah. Exactly.
You're not guessing.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, cool. I sold 40 racks of ribs.
Yep.
We got to do 40 racks.
Yep.
And we do it all as a as a reheat meal.
Yep.
So what I do is I cook my ribs to about 90%, put them in a wrap, and then just tell them like, hey, listen, go 275 for an hour in the oven.
Yep.
They'll be perfect.
Boom. Just like, yep, there you go. That's awesome. That is awesome.
That honestly is one of our big things.
Yep.
Our meal deals are fantastic. And then every once in a while I do work Sundays. Every once in a while we do brunches.
Yep.
Like we did a Mother's Day brunch this year.
Nice. Yep.
I mean, I think we did 115 people for Mother's Day brunch.
Yep.
For barbecue brunch.
Nice. That's awesome.
Smoked chicken and waffles.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Brisket, biscuits, and gravy.
Yep.
Like that's the stuff we were pulling out.
Yep.
And people loved it. We do a pulled pork breakfast bowl where it's basically like breakfast potatoes, cheese, pulled pork, and then scrambled eggs.
Yep.
And then I drizzle barbecue sauce over the top.
Nice.
And people love it.
Yep.
Just send it out the door.
Yep. Oh, that sounds awesome, man.
And that stuff, I mean, that's cheap.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, potatoes are still cheap, which is nice.
Yep.
Eggs are still kind of cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then we're not using that much pulled pork in it.
Yep.
Right. You got a lot of other filler that'll fill people up. And
exactly.
Just get enough smoke flavor in there to
give them something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's fantastic.
I mean, the brisket, biscuits, and gravy, those are costly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I take all my trimmings off my brisket, and I'll render that out, and that's what I make the gravy out of.
Oh, nice.
So like you gain 15 pounds off just that meal.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
people love it. We're doing another one at the end of this month.
Nice. Nice.
Chris is getting eaten up by mosquitoes.
I know we get sprayed here, but they're just they're big. But
right on.
Hey guys, this was fantastic.
Yeah, man.
Guys, thank you so much for having me.
I think we're gonna have you back on again to pick your brain, and we didn't even get into talking about your spices too. So, for those of you who don't follow him, we'll have him back on. We'll discuss the spices. I cook with him; they're fantastic. Follow at Fire and Smoke. Is it at Fire underscore?
Fire Smoke underscore BBQ.
Fire Smoke underscore BBQ.
Yes.
Yeah, give him a follow. Great stuff. His shiitake mushroom, the Four Corners.
Speaking of, I was smoking those today. I was smoking shiitake mushrooms today. I did 80 pounds.
Unreal.
Nice.
we'll definitely take a deeper dive into that when he comes on back on too. So we got more stuff to talk about. Thanks for joining us, Mel.
Heck yeah, that's it. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, guys. Be well.
All right, buddy.
Peace.